Friday Reads Live. Hello, everyone. It is Njeri. It is I. So it's October 1st. It's the beginning of the last quarter of 2021. And I want to tell you a little bit about the book that I'm reading right now. But before I do that, because it's really good, I want to just talk about where we are right now in the season. So August is my favorite season of the year. Of all the seasons, we have 4 of them where I live. Oh my gosh. Thank you for telling me. Oh, you know what? I was going to say autumn. That's where I said autumn. I was going to say autumn. Autumn is my favorite season of the year. Tommy thinks that it's because I've had wine, and absolutely it's not. So autumn is my favorite season of the year. I can't believe I said August, but I can. And I love seeing the transition. I love getting out into nature whenever I can. So that's going to be super exciting. But in the booktube world, it is also an incredibly exciting month because there's a bunch of stuff going on. It is Black History Month in the UK. I think there's a readathon called the Black Britathon or the Brit Blackathon or the Britathon, I think. Anyway, this is the first year that I've heard of it. So I think that for the month of October, you should read, according to that readathon, you're supposed to read books written by Black authors from the UK. And then there's Blackoween. So Blackoweenathon is hosted by Bree. And I have to say that this year, Blackoween has always been a really fun thing. I think that Bree kind of knocked it out of the park when she first started. But this year is just super califragilistic, expialidocious. So it's pretty exciting. So that's happening. And so there's a lot. I know that Bree is encouraging people to read mysteries, thriller, spooky things, horror. I will be staying on the speculative fiction side of things. So I'm going to be trying to read things that are scary and more horror. So that's the thing that I'll be doing. So I'm hoping to figure that out. And then, of course, we have the Black SFF-a-thon, which I co-host with a number of awesome people, including Noria from Chronicles of Noria, Lucy from Lucy Reads. We've got Arlene from Lockwood Press, I think. I hope I got that right. I'm so sorry. And then we have our fearless leader, Chloe from Thistle and Verse, who is the creatrix of the Black SFF-a-thon. And so we've got prompts, which you'll be able to find on Instagram for this season as well. So those 3 reading things are happening all at the same time. And then I'm sure that there are a bunch of other things that are happening that are not really coming to mind right now. But all this is to say that October is super exciting from a reading perspective. So that is super cool. There'll be a more formal announcement about this later, but I'm going to be announcing the date of the live show for the Written with Purpose author series that we did in August. And it seems super far away, August and a little bit of, I think it was September. It wasn't August. It was September. Anyway, we are going to be doing our live show where we're going to be announcing the winners. We haven't forgotten. It's just that right after we finished putting up all of the videos, there was FireCon and I got involved in that, and there was a whole bunch of like other stuff that happened. So I wanted to make sure that when we did the live show for that, we would be totally clear and present and focused. So we are going to be giving out 10 of those reading planners. Tommy, myself, and Brittany will be there, and we're going to decide. It might be this weekend that we'll do the live show, but anyway, we'll let people know. Okay, so I will say hi to the people who are here, and then I want to tell you what I'm reading, because what I'm reading right now is really touching my heart, and I recommend it, and I really want to talk about it. So thank you for being here. So Juanita, we have 2, winter and construction. I don't really know what that means. So what are you talking about? Tell me. Hey, Cache. Thanks for joining. And hi, Britt. Thank you for joining. You're writing, but you want to chill. I think that's good. I think this is a really good thing. I think you should write, and I think you should chill, because I definitely do that on your lives. So that's good. What are you writing? Yes. I have a good feeling that you're probably going to be selected as one of the winners, just because of I think you entered an entry for all 10, I want to say, I think. So your odds are good. Yes, it's too bad that you did get sick and you couldn't see them live, but I'm glad you're rewatching them, and please leave your comments. And Black Diva 21, hello. All right. So this is the book that I'm reading. I am hybrid reading it. It is Home is Not a Country by Safia I think it's El Hilo. I'm not sure how you pronounce their last name. Well, her last name. Those are her pronouns. So I'm going to read the back, and then I'm going to read the front, and then I'm going to show you how I have annotated this, and I'm going to talk about it. But the short story is, this book is gorgeous. It is tender. It is honest. It's darkly delightful. It gave me chills. It spoke, when a book tells a story that is in some ways your story, but it's kind of revealing your own story to you. That's how I feel about this book right now. And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So yes, a couple of things. That cover. This is a gorgeous cover. It's a beautiful Black woman. The colors on the cover are super fall. I love the upturned face. I love the sun-kissed skin. I love the focus on the eyes and the nose and the lips. It's very, very sensual. I love the dark, fiery fall autumn colors. I love the foliage. I love the darkness. I love the sense of like emergence. It's beautiful. So on the back, so on the front, it says, "Nothing short of magic, one of the best writers of our times." Who blurbed that? Elizabeth Acevedo. So when Elizabeth Acevedo says that a book that is written in verse is nothing short of magic, you know that it's going to be good. On the back, it says, "I imagine her, this other girl, bright and alive, and I ache to have been born her instead." And that tells you so much. These 12 words tell you so much about the book. I love the bees and the pollination. And I think that as I think about it, bees and flowers and pollinating make complete sense. And then on the inside of the dust jacket, it says, "Naima doesn't feel understood by her mother, who grew up far away in a different land, by her suburban town, which makes her feel too much like an outsider to fit in, and not enough like an outsider to feel that she belongs somewhere else. At least she has her childhood friend Hatham, with whom she can let her guard down and be herself until she doesn't. As the ground is pulled out from under her, Naima must grapple with the phantom of a life not chosen, the name her parents didn't give her at birth, Yasmin. But that other name, that other girl, might be just more real than Naima knows, and more hungry. And the life Naima has, the one she keeps wishing were someone else's, she might have to fight for it with a fierceness she never knew she had. And I have so much to say. There also are these very like shadowy, beautiful illustrations inside as well. And at the beginning of each section, you also have like a bit of a title page with flowers as well. So the book is called Home is Not a Country by Safia Elilo. Okay, so let's just see. Before I get into some more, let's see what people are saying. Cover is gorgeous. You're working on your first fantasy. Very exciting. I'm jealous. I would have loved to see her spoken word. Maybe I'll look for it. Yes, fall definitely draws you in. Okay, to the girl in my jazz class. That sounds like that would be fun. I see what you mean. This pairs really nicely with butter honey pig bread for sure. I want to know what you think of that. I think you're gonna love it. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm gonna read the foreword because it's very brief. I'll show you how I've been annotating. Sometimes a book, like when you're annotating, sometimes a book calls for a particular kind of annotation. And my annotation for this book has actually evolved. So I want to tell you about it. So I've been putting these little dots, these little vertical dots on the margins whenever there is like a beautiful paragraph or a concept I really like. And then I have been underlining with my marker whenever there is like a set of words that I want to reflect on. So anything that's underlined, I want to like go back and reflect on it. But I'll read you the letter. It's gorgeous. So hold on to your bloomers. Dear reader, the truth is, this is just one life of many you could have led. At some point, you made the choice to pick up this book, but you could have chosen something else to do. Before that, there were other decisions. You chose to walk down one street or another, to take the bus, to talk to that stranger. Even earlier, there were decisions made before you were born. Decisions that have profoundly affected who you are right now, what language you speak, where you live, even how you dream. It seems to me that this knowledge that you could have just as easily been any one of 100 other people is at the heart of empathy. It's the realization that every person you meet or see on the news or hear about could have been you if you had made slightly different choices, or if your grandparents had made slightly different choices, going way back into a great tree of different choices that looks like an entire world of people who aren't you, but might have been. Some people have the gift of understanding that they could have been other people. Naima is one of them. She understands her own life is just one branch of a tree, and the seeds that became her could have just as easily become someone else. She rides her nostalgia and the strange here and there-ness that is every immigrant's story to full visions of who she would have been if. And maybe we fantasize that we would be happier as that other person, or that we could run faster, or be more loved. So many stories are just about this thing, the fantasy of what it would mean to be someone else. All the lions and wardrobes, all the kids with secret powers, even the cats in hats. But what they fail to realize is that just as much as there are the many people we could have been, these people live in the corners of imagination, and perhaps they are wishing that they could be us. Welcome, then, to Safia Elilo's Home is Not a Country, a tree of identities, of who we are and who we could be, and the dangerous and beautiful place in between. Isn't that amazing? Like, what a way, what an ode to a story. So the story is written in verse. It's poetry. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is a beautiful story in which we follow Naima, who is in high school and has a best friend and lives with a single mom. And she doesn't know everything about her family. She doesn't know everything about her parents. And she encounters herself in different ways. And she has to confront this other entity, this other person, this other her. And I know for me, like, this story has touched me because as an only child, there were times in my life where it just felt like I had a phantom sibling. Or I would imagine running into somebody who looked exactly like me. I don't think it's just an only child thing, but it's certainly something that I had growing up. So it was amazing. Because I'm hybrid reading it, I'm hearing it in her voice, and her voice is gorgeous. The poetry is stunning. It's just amazing. So I want to show you some of my annotations. I haven't bedazzled it yet, but as I mentioned, I have these dots that go down the margin whenever there's something that I find like beautiful and interesting. I've also written little notes. I don't know if you can see it. Do you see the little notes here? Oh, there. Little notes there. I also have, like, toward the end, it got very loopy. So I just started like drawing loopy things on the page. And it's just, I don't know, it's just gorgeous. And then I actually started writing responses to the poetry. So, oh no. So, like, I'm actually writing back, and it just unfolds so beautifully. It's so dark and beautiful. So what I'll be doing is probably using probably something I can wipe on it, like a dry ink or something, but it's gorgeous. This is a beautiful thing. And then I started drawing some rain, and yeah, thoroughly enjoying this book. I think that this, as I mentioned, this pairs really well with my favorite book of the year so far, which is Butter, Honey, Pig Bread. And I think if you've watched my channel long enough, you know that I love books that kind of allow us to see the magical in the everyday, books that are subtle in their magic and in their fantasy. I find that those can be even more impactful. So that is what I'm reading this Friday. I'm really excited about all of the events that are happening right now. And there's a bunch of Instagram events as well. I think Bree's Bookish, Bookish Bree is doing an SFF like Instagram event. So there's so much going on. So yes. Okay. So I'm going to see if there are any other comments, which there are, and then yes. It's hilarious and honest and Black. You'll love it. That's me. Hilarious, honest, and Black. Yes, you do want to read this. It's going to be really good. And you want to attempt a short story. And yes, this is a really good short story in verse before the year is up. That's definitely really good. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for watching my Friday reads. I am almost finished Home is Not a Country. I also started Midnight in Indigo, which is a collection of short stories of Black speculative fiction written by Black women. I have a number of scary or creepy books. And I think tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow morning, I will film a recommendation video for all the different events that are happening right now, because I do have a fairly good collection for people who want to read Black. I've got a pretty good collection of like creepy, scary things. So we shall see. All right, everyone. Before I will go, I'll say this. I've been thinking a lot about fear and the things we fear. And for those of you who are writers who are watching, I think that it's unfortunate that the things that Black queer folks fear have not really shown up in our literature enough. So I remember when I came out to my parents, and I remember sitting in the living room about to tell my mother that I loved women. And it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life. And I wonder what would happen if someone captured that fear and rendered it speculative and gave it back to us as horror poetry or as a short story or a portal fantasy. I mean, I think about what if I could time travel to the Njeri that I am today and tell my decades younger self that it will be okay and that my mom will be at the altar with myself and my wife when we get married. And there are so many other fears of your family disappearing, like just going, or fears of like violence, or fears around not recognizing yourself anymore, or being wrong. There's just so much stuff, right? With there's so much fear in our experience that I think needs to be validated. So what I really appreciate about Home is Not a Country is that there's a lot of fear there that we can explore, the in-between place that a lot of first generation folks feel, like first generation Canadian folks, first generation American folks must feel when your parents were born somewhere else and you don't quite belong, or don't feel like you quite belong, except you do belong, but you kind of don't. Like there's just so much exploration of fear. So I'm hoping that as people read scary things in October, that it illuminates and validates our very important experiences of fear, and that it reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. And that's a superpower. And that's my TED Talk. So have a wonderful Friday. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you on my reading journey. Remember to read with purpose always. And that's it. Bye.